This meeting is being recorded by Marshfield Community Media. Just let everybody know, is there anybody else in the room recording? WATD. Thank you, sir. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have an executive session that'll be at the end of the meeting and a public hearing at 6 p.m. for small cell wireless installation at 3 locations. I want to add in that the DPW did a great job clearing the snow over the weekend, and it's my understanding there's more snow coming, I think, Wednesday, and maybe another storm over the weekend, just to let everybody know. Peter, do you have anything for a town administrator report?
I can just briefly update, I'll take this moment to briefly update. My co-interim, Charles Sumner, and I will be talking this week to identify who amongst the 14 people who have expressed interest to be on the town administrator search we wish to talk to. There are some that we may want to just appoint without having to talk to them. There are some that we may want to interview. We'll be hashing that out this week.
Okay. Hashing out this week, and next meeting you'll have everybody.
I would anticipate that by, the next meeting, we'll have identified the individuals that will serve on the committee.
Okay, I appreciate that. I was asked to flip around an agenda item, and this would be for agenda number 5, Drug Story Hour. So,
Did you want?
does anybody from the opioid committee want to come up and speak?
Thank you.
Name and address, please.
Sure. Barry Price, T-Rock Lane.
Michael Sullivan, 958 Forest Street.
Thank you both.
Thank you. We're really excited to support a grant that came before the Opioid Fund Committee a couple of months back. We had some discussion and reviewed the grant proposal that they had put in. And I think most of us know Drug Story Theater as a prevention program for middle and high school. But as they've been doing their presentations, they're really hearing from people like, we got to start younger. We don't have any programs to start with the younger kids. And so their grant proposal proposes to develop a program for K through, it would be 5, I guess, in Marshfield, 6th grade goes into the middle school, combining prevention skills, refusal skills, education, all geared down to that young age. And it would start with a pilot in Marshfield. They do use students, and the students, again, will carry on with what Drug Story Theater has been doing about using youth in recovery. But again, like I said, gearing it down. And Kathleen, do I have it right? A large in a small space.
Oh, here's Dr. Joe.
A big place in a small
Joe's
space,
here.
yes. Because they have such a huge emphasis on brain science. And one of the things that they're finding when kids know about their brain, they're more apt to take care of their brain. So they've requested from us $20,000, and they are using what's called RISE. They are actually responsible for handling the opioid abatement funds that the state held back. When all of the settlement money came into the states distributed 40% to the towns and maintained control of 60%. And so one of the ways they're doing it is using a program called RISE, who puts out regularly grants. And the last couple that they've done have asked the grant proposers to match opioid fund money with the grant proposal. So RISE would give $20,000, Marshall Opioid Fund Committee would give $20,000, and then in terms of sustainability, there's other funding sources that Drug Story Theater can access. I would love it if Dr. Joe and Kathleen Wright could give a better, more in-depth description of the program.
step up to the podium.
We'll both come up. Good evening. Thank you very much for having us here tonight. So as some
Can you
of
just
you
give your
know-
name and address, please?
Yes, sure. My name is Joseph Strand, 675 Summer Street.
And I'm Kathleen Wright, 86 Pinehurst Road.
Thank you.
And as some of you know, Drugs Free Theater, what we do is we take teenagers in the early stages of recovery from drugs and alcohol. We teach them improvisational theater, and then they use psychodrama, and they create their own scripted shows about the seduction of addiction to and recovery from drugs and alcohol. They perform these shows in middle schools and high schools, so the treatment of one becomes the prevention of many. In between each scene, the kids step out of character. They do PowerPoint presentations teaching the audience about the neuroscience of adolescent brain development and why it's at such risk for addiction. Now, what we want to do is take that basic concept and bring the education of substance use into schools so that we really focus on the prevention component, not just the treatment component. So for that, with the funding that we hope we can get, we will be able to design a curriculum called A Big Place in a Small Space, A Student's Guide to Their Amazing Brain. And we start this with age-appropriate education from kindergarten, first grade, all the way through fifth grade, and then hopefully beyond, so that kids can learn how cool their brains are. And so by the end, they say, why would you want to give that away to drugs and alcohol? And that's the whole idea, is teaching kids about their amazing brains. And that's what we're hoping we can do. Anything else, Kathleen?
I just want to stress that our program has been around since 2014. It was founded here in Marshfield. To date, we perform for 65,000 audience members throughout the Commonwealth. Our funding predominantly has come from the Bureau of Substance Addiction Services through the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. RISE is a Commonwealth-supported program. And again, this municipal match grant, we would pilot this program here in Marshfield, and then RISE would be able to use it across the Commonwealth for K through fifth grade students. This is a public school program, and our plan is to pilot it here in the 5 elementary schools. And we have the support of the superintendent of schools, Pat Sullivan, to do that. Our program is teaching brain science and how that is, it starts at a very early age with, the way the adolescent brain develops opens young people up to potential addiction, lifelong addiction, just because of the way the brain is developing. And again, what we've been asked to do by numerous parents and school administrators across the Commonwealth is to bring this down to an even lower level, kindergarten through fifth grade. And so Dr. Joe, he is a specialist in this. He's a nationally recognized expert on substance abuse, especially as it pertains to children and adolescents. So we're very fortunate in the town of Marshfield to have someone with a skill set that we can use to provide real brain science and bring it to our own public schools here in Massachusetts and then Commonwealth-wide. So we're very thankful to the opioid committee for bringing this through the first layer of approval, and we're hopeful to have it pass here tonight. Thank you.
So just sort of as an example, I mean, neuroscience is incredibly complex, but we can translate it so that anyone can understand it. So an example would be kindergarten kids go out to the playground with their teacher, and they go on a merry-go-round. And some of them get dizzy. And they come back into class, and they learn about the vestibular system of the brain and why their brains got dizzy. So it would be really hands-on learning for these kids. And I'm convinced that really kids who know about how cool their brains are, I think they're going to be at much less risk for substance use later on. So thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
It's, I had a question on it.
Sure.
So do you already have this curriculum put together?
We have some of it put together, but the rest of it not. So it would take us several months to develop it, work with the school systems to understand what they are already teaching, and coordinate our efforts so that we can get it into the schools.
Is, okay, so you're not completely finished with the curriculum.
Correct.
So are you going to put this out for the parents to review as well? To get
Happy to.
feedback from them?
We'd be delighted to, absolutely. We can get feedback from from whoever wants to give us feedback. It'd be absolutely great. And we'll be working with some specialists as well. So, pediatric neurologists, people who are involved in theater and getting communication across so that it is kid-friendly. But absolutely, we're happy to bring it to you guys. You can take a look, see what you think.
I'm good with that.
Okay?
And the other thing is, just to shore up, so you're looking for the select board approved $20,000?
Correct.
Okay,
From the opioid money.
all right.
Eric, can I interject real quick? In that, Drugstore Theater will not receive approval from RISE without the opioid fund match. So that's contingent on, us approving the match.
No, I don't have a problem with that. Like I said, just the education material. I think the parents would like to be informed before there's something being brought forward to their kid in regards to what that is. And that's why, when you get done with it, yes, the select board would like to see it, but also I think it should be put out to the public for review by the parents to make sure they're satisfied with it. And there's no concerns on their basis.
Yeah. The feedback we've gotten from parents for Drugstore Theater has been, absolutely great. So I would be delighted to hear what parents think their kids need to know. I've got 4 kids of my own. They're all older now, but, they've all learned brain science at home. So.
I appreciate it. Steve, you have any?
Can I say something? Do you mind? Can I-
Are you a part of the group?
No, I'm not, but I want to talk to you afterwards, because I run a drug rehab facility. I'm the operations manager there.
If you want to get up to the podium and make a quick comment, you can.
What was that?
You want to get up to the podium,
Sure.
make a quick comment?
Absolutely.
Name and address, please.
Deborah Leary, 4 Water Street. Deborah Leary, 4 Water Street. I would love to talk to you.
Sure.
Because we sometimes get adolescents to come, and we don't know what to do with them. Because it's tricky because we're a buprenorphine facility, and we prescribe, and we treat probably about 350 patients a week. So anybody that thinks that opiates are, it's okay, it's not. And most of them started when they were adolescents, because their parents had substance abuse issues, and the kids learned from that. Some of the horror stories that you hear, how the children become addicted, is terrible. So I would love to talk to you, and maybe we can do some collaboration together. And we have 3 offices, one in Weymouth, one in Northborough, and one in New Bedford.
Okay.
We could work something out and go from there.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Awesome,
That's all
thank
I
you.
have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Steve, you have anything to say?
Yes, thank you. Not only is Drugstore Theater educational for the audience, but the neuroscience behind how it benefits the performers is also very fascinating, because people who have been through traumatic experiences can be afraid to experience their emotions deeply. And theater is all about embodying your emotions and giving voice to them and trying to convey deep truths to your audience. So I didn't know if Dr. Schran wanted to add anything about just the neuroscience behind how it can be very therapeutic and beneficial to the performers as well.
Absolutely. So substance use is really based on 2 major neurochemicals. Dopamine, all drugs and alcohol force the brain to make dopamine. And another one called oxytocin, not OxyContin, but oxytocin, which is the neurohormone of trust. Dopamine, we know, interferes with oxytocin. But we also know back in 2012, there was a paper published that showed how oxytocin can overcome the loop of addiction. Now, what's powerful about this is whenever an audience member is listening to our kids and gives them that round of applause, that sense of being valued massively increases oxytocin in our kids' brains. So that's it. So the treatment of one becomes a prevention of many, but the audience becomes a treatment for our kids, so they don't feel a need to use drugs and alcohol. I don't know if any of you have done theater. I had a little bit of experience in my life, but there is something about being up on stage and getting that applause that is the most amazing, amazing feeling of happiness. Not just pleasure, but real happiness. So That's the neurochemistry that's going on in our kids' brains, and that's what we hope to bring to the kids in school so that they can realize, also teachers can realize, when you're praising your kids in school, you're increasing oxytocin in their brain, and that can overcome the potential for addiction. So thank you for the question, Stephen.
Thank you.
Trish?
We don't get a lot of applause up here. I just want to say, I know you were asking about the parents. When my son was in Marshfield High School, they had an evening where the parents could go to a performance. And so I was able to do that, and I'm sure this is something that they would do as well. So they make sure that the parents know what they're exposing these kids to. But I just thought, at the high school level, it was fantastic, and I think this, having taught elementary school, I think it's a fabulous idea, so I fully support this.
Just to reiterate, what I say to parents as doing child psychiatry is I say to the parents, don't let anybody tell you that you are not the expert in your kid. You're the expert. People like me, we're just the professionals, but the most important person is the kid. So absolutely, we would involve parents in this.
And I think the learning opportunity for parents is huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, is that it from everybody?
Yeah,
Thank
Okay.
you.
thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for your time.
All right, I move that the board vote to approve to match the opioid fund committee grant funding for drugstore theater in the amount of $20,000. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and there's another part to this. Discussion vote to appoint Meg LeMay to opioid fund committee. I guess my concern is that Meg does not live in town, so I don't know how she can be part of a committee. So, Trish, have you thought about that, or?
Well, so we lost Sean, who was the treasurer collector, and what Sean brought was the information behind where the money was going and how the money could be spent. And then last year, Meg had to file a report asking a lot of the questions of, were we meeting all the criteria when we came up with these grants? So we could make her be a non-voting member, more of a support, a liaison type. But I think her knowledge is valuable because it just has the money aspect, and we need to know that we've met all the criteria moving forward.
I don't disagree with that. That's why I don't have a problem with that in itself, but being part of the committee, especially where she does not reside in town, is where I think I would raise some concerns there. Peter, do you have any
No,
suggestions?
it's not uncommon to have, in this type of committee, to have officials, particularly treasurer collectors, on committees, regardless of where they reside. Prime example is you could have someone on a retirement board that's a treasurer collector for the town or the finance director, and they don't live in the town. But, the alternative is she could function in an ex officio manner where she wouldn't have voting rights, but would be able to provide information and be a resource to the committee.
That's what I was looking at.
Was Sean Marshfield? Does he
No,
live?
he didn't live here.
Yeah, so, and he was a voting member.
I had no knowledge of it, and
Bob's
so,
got his hand up.
You don't have to be a resident to be on an appointed board. You have to be a resident to be on an elected board. So if you decide to allow Meg to be on the committee and be a voting member, you have that authority. It's true.
I mean, I don't have a problem with having Meg being a part of this. I just look at that in my appointment. My thought is that, anybody that's going to be on these committees, especially as a voting member, should be a resident of the town.
Well, in her capacity as accountant, I think she's going to want to make sure that the money's being spent appropriately. So I actually think she has a lot of value being a voting member.
What's your thought, Steve?
I think the most important thing is that there are positive outcomes, and I think having Meg on the committee as a voting member would produce positive outcomes, and she would add value, so I'm comfortable appointing her as a voting member to the committee.
All right. All right, so is that part of your update and background on the request?
Yeah, do you have anything to add about Meg? Egg? Meg?
She is hugely valuable.
Yeah.
And I think as a voting member, I feel like there was some hesitancy when she was sitting in for Sean, that she didn't have full input and full voting. And again, that could be a workaround. And I wasn't aware of, any kind of conditions around someone being a resident of Marshfield, but it doesn't sound like from what Bob and Mr. Moran said, that that's required. So we do support her as a voting member.
Bob, I mean, it's a committee that's appointed by the board, the select board, right? So, I mean, we stop bringing in people that are non-residents onto it. We open it up.
No, I mean, really, I think you gotta look at each board as it comes, and there might be a circumstance where it would never make sense to have somebody from outside, but this board has a little bit of a distinct function, and it sounds like, everybody but Meg would be a resident, so you're certainly gonna get the residents' perspective. And if you are benefiting from the financial advice, then I think that's not a bad reason to deviate from what might be a preference for a resident.
Yeah, I just look at, my only concern is just, I'm just looking at this as that, Meg's a non-resident, and we start bringing in people that are non-residents, even though Meg, I understand, can still have a role in this. I just think that we could be setting ourselves up for something down the road in the future in regards to the issue, in my opinion.
Can I just make a comment about that? I think if it's not illegal and someone is bringing expertise to the town,
Name and address, please.
we have people in town
Name
who
and
are
address,
not
please.
residents
Name
in
and address,
appointed
please.
positions.
Name and address.
Peg Davis, 87 New Street, Marshfield. I'm just thinking if we have the expertise and she's familiar with the town and she's involved with the finances, it really makes sense if it's not against the law to have her expertise. Just my opinion.
All right. I move that the board vote to approve the appointment of Meg LeMay to the opioid fund committee for a 3-year term expiring 6/30/2028. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm going to abstain from this vote.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, it passes. Thank you. All right, I think we're all set. Thank you so much,
Thank
both of
you.
us.
Yep, thank you.
All right, I'm gonna go with number 7. This is for an alternate position to appoint Bonnie Owens to the Open Space Committee. Susan Karen is requesting to add an alternate position to the Open Space Committee and to have this position filled by Bonnie Owens. Steve, do you have any comments on this?
No, Sue Karen's here tonight in the audience. If she's recommending that, she would be a good fit as an alternate, then I support it. I think it's a good thing to have more people on town boards, especially alternate positions, so that when there is a full-fledged membership vacancy, there's someone who's put the time in to kind of learn about what it takes and be able to hit the ground running, so I think it'd be a positive thing.
Yes, if they're chosen by the select board. Trish?
I guess my only question is, I know Bonnie's on a lot of committees, and last year we talked about trying to have more people come on. So if we're looking to have alternatives, I'm just wondering if we should be doing this about the same time that we appoint committees, or? I mean, I have no objection against what, Susan's requesting at all, but, we discussed this about having more people
I know.
being able to contribute.
I mean, I think there's some people there that are on multiple boards, and I don't disagree with you. I think you bring up a valid point in regards to this, and waiting, I mean, we're gonna be appointing people in a few months anyways, right? So,
I mean, right now, we don't know about the vacancies, and so I know we've gotten a few boards that, I mean, we had someone that withdrew from the opioid fund committee, so we needed to replace that, but, if we're gonna be going into renewals, I just think to continue ongoing appointments. Just a thought.
no, that's the one thing, is now I gotta think, the whole thing is with Meg LeMay, you guys just put her on, I mean, I guess, but and I got the Bonnie Owens for the open space. Any other thoughts upon Trish's comments there?
Yeah, it's an interesting point. I was thinking, if there are folks who maybe didn't seek reappointment come June or were not reappointed, we would at least have an alternate with maybe 3.5 months of experience underneath their belt that we could slide upwards into a full-time position. If you wanted to take more time to vet alternate appointments in the interim, I can see that. But maybe I would ask Sue, perhaps, why you are recommending Bonnie from the existing pool of applicants as an alternate?
Sure. Susan Karen, Open Space Committee Chair. Bonnie had reached out to us when she sent in applications a while ago. One of her areas of interest was open space, and she didn't get appointed to us. So the idea of an alternate position just has come up. We've heard other committees do it. And our goal is just to have someone, as you had said, learn what the job is, so that when a position does come up, that someone's available. And also, because Bonnie was interested, I reached out to her when we were discussing this alternate position. If we would like to have that position anyway, but we would like to have Bonnie. She said she has time. We were concerned about that too. She is on another committee, and it's not as demanding as she thought it would be. And as an alternate, she's not required to attend every meeting. But for us, it's more like a succession plan, feeder system of getting younger people. We've, for a long time, had the same, all retired folks, myself included. And so having younger people with school-age children, they bring different skill sets and different priorities, too. So we're open space and recreation, so we're really blessed now to have 2 people with school-age children on the committee. And so we welcomed the idea of having another one. And it also helps. We very rarely have quorum problems, but when we do, we have timely votes sometimes, getting ready for town meeting. And that can be hard with working people, so having an extra person to pull from, to pull a quorum when you need it is helpful.
Do you have 5 or 7?
We
on
have
board?
7.
Okay. Okay.
7, so this will be, and to my knowledge, no one is planning to not get reappointed in June.
Okay.
So at this point, everybody's dedicated to continue.
All right.
So
I mean,
Is that-
no, I appreciate you
Yep.
speaking up, and I understand what
No,
you're
I know, it's up to you, and if you have to wait, that's fine too, but
do you want to go with it or not?
Yeah, if you're comfortable with it.
You good?
Yeah.
I move that the board vote to approve the request to add an alternate position to the Open Space Committee. I move that the board vote to approve the appointment of Bonnie Owens as an alternate to the Open Space Committee for a 3-year term expiring 6/30/2028. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you, everybody. All right, I think we're rolling right up to the hearing moment. No, that was in January.
Oh, sorry.
Hello? Question here?
No, I gotta do a public hearing right
I
now.
was wondering when you're going to do the public comment portion of the meeting?
It was like after number 7,
Okay.
agenda number 7.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. I move that the select board vote to open the public hearing scheduled for 6 PM pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 166, Sections 21 through 22, in the Town of Marshall Small Cell Wireless Facility Policy on the proposed grant of location application allowing installation by Centerline Communications LLC in connection with Verizon Wireless of 3 small wireless facilities within the Town of Marshall's public right-of-way, Marshall, Mass. SC 06-VZ pole number 7, 175 Ocean Street. Marshfield, Mass. SC 07-utility pole at 1S, 5 Water Street. And Marshfield, Mass. SC 10, pole number 77A, 1190 Ocean Street of said Town of Marshfield. Do I have a second to open this hearing?
Second.
Herbert Kelly, aye.
Steve Darcy, aye.
Patricia Simpson, aye.
All right, and then I gotta read, I believe, the public hearing notice. In conformity with the requirements of the Town of Marshall Policy for applications for small cell wireless installations, you are hereby notified that a public hearing will be held at the Marshall Town Hall, Select Board Chamber, 870 Moraine Street, Marshall, Massachusetts, on the 9th day of February 2026 at 6:00 PM upon the application of Centerline Communications LLC in connection with Verizon Wireless dated December 16, 2025 for 3 small wireless facilities, SWF, on existing poles located on the right-of-way, Marshall, Mass. SZ 06-VZ pole number 7175 Ocean Street, Marshall, Mass. SC 07-utility pole number 1S, 5 Water Street, and Marshfield, Mass. SC 10, pole number 77A, 1190 Ocean Street. Select Board, Town of Marshfield. All right, are the applicants available? Can you give your name and address, please?
Good evening, Chair, members of the board. Thank you for having me here. I'm Sean Conway. I work with Verizon Wireless.
Thank you. So there's a lot to go through here in the paperwork, obviously. So you want to give us a rundown?
Sure.
And I guess explain the purpose, why these locations were picked out?
Yeah, we can do that. So you've explained kind of where the locations are of these small cells. I will say that SC06 is across from 349 Ocean Street. There wasn't an address, and it just said Ocean Street and the pole number, just to put that out there on the record. So our intentions are to install these 3 small cell wireless facilities on existing utility poles. 2 of the locations will have, all 3 of the locations will have what are called cantenna antennas. They're about 34 inch in diameter, about 36 inches tall, and they'll be either on the top of the utility pole, or one of them is in the communication space of the utility pole. That's all based off of the guidelines that are set forth by Eversource, the pole owner there. Each location will also have wires that run from the small cell antenna down to our radios. The radios will be sitting on the pole about 8 feet up. We'll have 2 radios, a electric diplexer, and a meter that'll be installed for our electric use. That's pretty much the gist of the installations. These locations were selected by our radio frequency and system performance team as locations where our network receives high traffic or coverage issues. So in cases like this, where we can't have a tower, we're able to fill in little gaps in our network, or areas where there's congestion, where there's a lot of folks using their phones. We can put a small cell in that location. That will deal with the traffic in that area, whether it's coverage or capacity. And it allows our tower to go back to kind of doing what it would normally do. So the nearby tower ends up getting congested in these areas where we're putting the small cells. So the tower is spending a lot of its brain giving the signal to these areas rather than spreading it out across the area where it was originally intended. So the idea is that we can add these 3 small cells to the network, and our tower will perform better in the town.
Obviously, I'm going to say that you've heard in the past, I guess, in regards to cell towers and people's concerns in regards to where they're located, especially residential neighborhoods, and the impact it could have. How are these compared to a regular cell phone tower? Or a cell tower, I should say.
As to,
Impact of people's quality of life?
I mean, it's going to improve their quality of life because they now have a signal that they know is going to work all the time. Folks that are using this area for recreation, if there's ever an emergency in that area, they're going to be able to make sure they'll have a connection to be able to contact public safety for any emergencies. The equipment itself is very similar to stuff that's out there on utility poles already. I can't see how it would affect their quality of life too much.
Is the quality of life, like, meaning, is it an impact on their health in the long term or anything like that?
The FCC has done studies and shown that these do not impact a person's quality of life. These small cells are basically 5 to 10% of what the FCC legal limit is for RF emissions. So they're they're small, so they emit very little RF. There is diagrams in here that show the RF emissions, and unless someone is directly next to the antenna, the RF emissions dissipate very quickly from a small cell.
Without me knowing the whole operations of these, but like when I went down 5 Water Street, to that telephone pole is pretty much directly right next to a house right there. So if I'm reading your plans in regards to the RF?
Yep.
Administrative, it looks like a cloud or something like that?
Right.
Does in regards to that person living in a house, and maybe even houses around it, they're not gonna be anything noticeable to them over time?
There won't be anything noticeable over time. It's basically similar to having a Wi-Fi router in your house or a Wi-Fi connection.
On a bigger scale, though, wouldn't it be?
It's lightly bigger scale, but it's not, like I said, this is a small facility and it emits very little RF. We have the study in here that shows, if we want to bring it up, we can take a look at it. I think the houses were anywhere from 27 feet or more away from these facilities.
I think some of the emails, they were concerned about wires, but it doesn't sound like you're adding any wires from these?
There will be a wire. If there's not, let me just see, for one of them, I believe that Eversource will need to bring a wire across the street to provide power to the facility.
Yeah, that was the concern on Water Street.
Let me just pull up these drawings. So 6 has existing there. 7 has existing there. So yeah, for SC10 at 1190 Ocean Boulevard, or Ocean Street, there will be wires that will need to be brought across the street to deliver the power and fiber to the facility.
When you say wires, multiple wires or just one?
Just one wire. In this picture, it does look like there is actually existing fiber there, so it would just be a power line that Eversource would need to deliver to our meter to deliver the power to the facility.
All right, Steve, you got anything you want to ask about?
I just wanted to add that, this is the reason why the town adopted a small cell wireless facilities policy about a year ago, just to put in different protections for the town, because we thought it would be better to have a policy in place than to have nothing. So We have noise restrictions, we have height restrictions, and we have radio frequency restrictions too to protect us. So I think that addresses this project, so I don't really have any concerns. Just if there's anyone tuning in, my only questions were just educational. How much of a radius or scope of improvement like would one of these nodes provide to an existing customer in the
They
area?
go out about half a mile or so, so almost a mile radius. But again, if it's, I'm not very familiar with these areas. If it gets real busy, and there's a lot of users, then that obviously shrinks down.
Yeah, and you definitely, I can say that the locations that you picked looking on the map, these are definitely dead zones, so it definitely would provide an improvement of service to your existing customers. So just my last question is, what's the criteria that you guys use to decide where to put up one of these nodes? Because I can think of a lot of places in town that could definitely use some more of these to improve the cell service because they're dead areas. So is it more so your internal metrics and measurements, or is it public feedback? How do you guys decide where to
It's
place
both.
this?
I mean, we're always monitoring our network. We know where a lot of these places are. There's places like this all over New England. We cover all of New England in our office. So we're trying to fix them as we go. Some of them become important for some reasons, but if we hear from the public, that bubbles these things up the ladder, for sure. If our customers are complaining about a problem in areas, we tend to address those faster than stuff that we just know about.
Thank you.
So when you say when you hear from the public, it bubbles it up. So is that the case of these 3 locations you picked? Is that you've heard concerns from the public?
We've definitely heard some concerns from the public in this area, yes.
Do you have those records?
I don't have those records.
Who would have those records?
I couldn't even tell you if I have a record of just stuff that came into headquarters. I could certainly try to look into that.
Yeah, I think that's an important factor in regards to this, is that if you're getting complaints about cell service and all that, and everything, I think that should be entered into the record for the select board to look at. I mean, it's, because you could say whatever you want and say, well, we've had numerous requests and all that, but how do we know that?
Okay. I mean, I could certainly look into that. Again, it's been notified that it's certainly an area of difficulty for us. So whether this was our RF and system performance engineers that brought it to us or complaints, I'm not 100% sure on that. But I could certainly look into to see if there are complaints and if we could get access to those.
So, I mean, there are 3 that you're looking for, and Water Street, we received a lot of complaints about this being put up there. So that's my concern, is the Water Street one. The neighbors just don't seem to want it. So I don't know how we address that. Are you going to let people speak in this?
Yeah, I mean, I want you to say.
Yeah, so I mean, of course, I want to hear what the residents have to say, and I know that they've been very vocal in the last week about not wanting it there.
Okay.
Very close to the houses, they don't want wires. Bluefish Cove is just such a natural, beautiful place, and, adding more wires and more stuff to the area, that's not what they're looking for, so, I'm concerned about that.
All right, I'm going to open it up to the public to speak. Name and address, please.
Deborah Leary, 4 Water Street. The concern that, and I can speak for the residents in Bluefish Cove, the concern that we're having, again, is the uniqueness of Bluefish Cove. And the pole that you're putting it on is right on the water. Matter of fact, if I'm standing in my bedroom window, your equipment will block my view of the water. So I'm not saying this just for personal. That is a beach community. Now we're going to have to deal with large equipment, and it seems to be a lot more than we were told what it was. The issue with that pole gets struck by lightning at least once a year. And the last time it got struck by lightning, it blew off all of the equipment. And matter of fact, some of the equipment was 20 feet away. Now, you add your tower and your equipment on that, that could be devastating. And the reason why Bluefish Cove gets a lot of lightning strikes is, as you know, it's a peninsula, and it has a granite base. It draws it. You can feel it when there's a storm. You can smell the ozone. Then you know the run for cover at that point. My question is, why put it on a pole that'll make that area look too commercial when it's a very quaint area? And it's conservation, and we have to follow all these conservation rules. I mean, if you pull a plant out that's not an endangered, if it's an endangered species and conservation is now coming down on us. My question is, can they move it, that system? It's not that we don't want it, we just don't want it right there. There is a pole that Verizon owns right next to that transfer station. So when you come over that little causeway, before you take a right into Bluefish Cove, there are 3 big telephone poles right there. And I want to say, from where I live to that telephone pole is probably 500 yards. That wouldn't make that much of a difference for that piece of equipment to be put there. There are no houses below it. It's marsh that's below it. And it wouldn't obstruct anybody's water view. Aesthetically, it wouldn't be quite noticeable because now you're going over the marsh, and it'd be right at that corner. So I would hope that Verizon would take under consideration the beautification that it would disrupt in the cove with that, and just move it to a pole further back, so it's not right on the water where the beach is. Otherwise, it's a problem. I mean, I'm talking this equipment, when I look out my bedroom window, that's what I'm gonna see now. And the whole idea of buying waterfront property is not to be disrupted by a commercial industry that doesn't care about the quaintness of an area, or keep its quaintness and what it's all about. So Verizon being Verizon, I would think that they would have some heart and not destroy an area that's governed by conservation, that is a summer community. So when you're saying better service, that's great. For what? There's like 6 families that are there all winter. So do we need better service? There's 6 of us. But if you move it back, at the beginning, when you go over that little tiny causeway, now all the people that are further back where there are much more homes will end up reaping more benefit from it. And we would still be able to get service from there. Just move it back.
Is that a possibility?
And I took a picture of the poll number today that it says clearly right on it, Verizon.
I think that we could certainly take a look at that location. I think 5,000 yards is, we talked earlier about the distance on these, and I think that the main coverage objective for the team was the beach there.
I think she said 500,
500.
not
I
5,000.
thought you said 5,000. I mean,
No.
could certainly
It's
take a
not
look
that
at
big.
it. Again,
Yeah.
I think there's a beach that's there and a beach kind of across the water that would be the main goal of the network team to cover.
So when you say across the water, you're talking Duxbury?
No, they're talking Berks, I think, Berks Beach.
Perks, I think it is.
From Bluefish Cove across the way, right? Berks.
Right. So you got Bluefish Cove Beach, and then, right, that's Duxbury, is that not Green Harbor?
Green Harbor.
Green Harbor, okay. So this is gonna sound selfish, but Green Harbor doesn't pay my taxes. Right? So I know Verizon, they don't care about that, but as a community, we do. So if you put it on the beach to help Green Harbor, basically Verizon is saying, but I don't really care about you. So I pay a lot of taxes to be waterfront. Everybody in that community pays a lot of taxes to be waterfront. And there's a lot of maintenance. Not to mention that that road is an association road. So we're under association as well. So now Verizon's coming in and overstepping associations, overstepping conservation, overstepping the commonality of a community. We're not telling you not to put it in the area, we're just asking to move it back. That's all. Not to mention, once you put that up, I wonder what my potential of my property, how much of that will be affected if I go to sell my property. Now there's a big bunch of equipment in the ocean, my ocean view. Verizon gonna be there when I sell the house? And then I say, well, I lost $300,000 because there's now equipment on my water view home. So now that's, just put it where it won't interfere with housing in that area, especially on that corner. It got to the point where the firemen came one time on that corner, they couldn't make the corner. That's how narrow it is. I could probably read Ski's newspaper from my house, and you're putting that equipment on that pole, which is probably about 15 feet from my house,
All right, Deborah,
right?
I think we get the message.
All right, so we'll just want to make sure Verizon knows, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you for showing up. Does anybody else out there want to speak on it?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and fellow Select Board members. My name is Ed Bigelow, and I live at 5 Water Street. I'm here to speak. I kind of understand the need, being a former fire chief and knowing the lieutenant here since he got on the department, the need for good communication in our area and out in the bay. I tuna fish out there. Our phones go dead. It's a dangerous area. So I don't know whether to speak on the technology end of it, though, but I do have an easement. I'd like to present an easement to put into the record for that pole at 5 Water Street. It was granted by my father in 1965 for a pole for transmission, though, of electricity and electrical uses. So I would ask the board to table this matter until I can catch up with Verizon to see if there's some way we can modify the easement. I mean, the burden's on me. The burden was there on my parents when the pole was first put in to support the electric line. That's what it was there for. And it's become now a more common usage with a more up-to-date technology involved with it, not that simple easement. So, I'd like to modify the easement to a more modern standard and see, what ways, I can get it to benefit myself because you already have the easement. The easement's already there.
Yep. It's to New England Telephone also.
Right. But it goes with the property. And the pole stays there. But it does create even further burden because if I ever wanted to put an in-law, a patio out there, a lot of the same things like Deb said. It does just affect the personal end of it a little bit. Our being. I mean, I understand the technology and the need for it. But I think if that document is still legal and a binding easement, it should be modified in some regard. And just see how we can work it out so it better benefits, myself where the pole is on my property, kind of. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions or? No?
I don't see.
No, could you just refresh us on the dimensions for these
Thank you.
nodules?
Thank you.
Let's see here. I need to grab my glasses, sorry. They're right on the lease exhibits, L3, page L3, so it's about 38 inches tall, and these are about 15 inches in diameter.
Thank you.
Yep.
And was this particular one, I know some of the cantennas were gonna go on top of an existing pole, and then some were gonna go on the side. Would this be on top or on the side?
This one was on, the 5 Water Street.
Yes.
Just confirm, pretty sure it's on top, but. Yes, it's on pole top.
Thank you.
And what was going on the side, you said 8 feet down, there's gonna be.
Deborah, if you want to speak, go to the podium, please.
Sorry.
Name and address again also, please.
Hi, Deborah Leary, 4 Water Street. You said that 8 feet down, so there's one panel, and what else is going on that pole to
There's radio equipment,
radio equipment?
yep, that sit in a frame on the utility pole.
Do you have pictures of that
We
equipment?
have a simulation.
Do you mind?
Oh,
Thank you. And how big are the things on the side? The dimensions on that?
It is 14 feet across, 14 inches across, 16 inches across, 18 inches tall, and 16 inches tall.
Thank you. It's just it's part of the beach. You're right on the beach at that point. So,
Thank you, Deborah. All right. Does anybody else want to speak to this in public? All right. You two. All set? You have anything else to say?
Well, is,
We'll say, we can close the public, this portion, and then we can we can deliberate afterwards.
Okay.
So is that?
okay, that's fine.
All right. All right, I'm going to close this public portion of the hearing by motion and deliberate. Bob, is there a motion special motion to close?
I didn't draft a motion to close, but you could just make a motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
All right, so I'm going to make a motion to close the public portion of this hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye. Eric Kelly, aye.
Steve Darcy, aye.
Patricia Simpson, aye.
Okay. Steve, what are your thoughts?
Well, there were no issues or negative feedback with the 2 installations on Ocean Street, so I think those are good to move forward. And, these are all definitely dead zones in the town. For Water Street, it's going on top of an existing telephone pole. So I certainly understand the concerns, but it's going on top of a telephone pole that's already there. So I can see the merit for why it needs to be installed there. But if you want to ask that, maybe the feasibility of a different pole be looked into, I'd be fine with that, because I know that, when a particular pole gets recommended, they have an engineer look into the most feasible place to put it. But if you want to ask for, the feasibility of another telephone pole, I think that makes sense.
Trish?
I feel the same way, and possibly even look over at Green Harbor side. So I have no problem with the other 2 that,
See, my concern is that we're moving it from one location to another, and the whole thing is that we will probably still get the same reaction from those across the way as well. My look at it is, this is all, like, I guess you could say, new technology, and you hear good things about it, bad things about it. And the concerns are is that I believe all three of those locations, there are people that live around them. And also, it was brought forward that there were, how these things work their way up the ladder is based on the amount of complaints or feedback, I guess, Verizon would get from people, and those documents have not been presented to us. So my look at it is that, one, before, at least me anyways, I'd like to move forward, before I even think about moving forward, is get that documentation in regards to how, what was explained tonight, in regards to complaints or lack of service. And I'm also thinking that maybe we, as a select board, we should bring in somebody that is neutral and give us an overview of these small cell towers and everything like that before we move forward with this. So this way, I think for now and going forward, because I'm sure there'll be other small cell towers that may be requested that are probably gonna be in areas that nobody likes, that at least we have a better understanding of them. And, you know, this will be documentation in case when they do go forward, that neither, any one of us on here, that another select board has something on record to go by. That's the way I'm looking at it. Steve?
I mean, if you want, and Trish, if you're fine with this, I mean, I could just make a motion that we approve the 2 Ocean Street locations and then request that an alternative location be looked into and, you know, recommended back to us for the Water Street location.
And then maybe at that time, bring someone in, because I agree, I would like more information.
Yeah, I mean,
And a clearer
I
picture.
wouldn't, my honest opinion, Trish, is I wouldn't support any motions right now. And if you're looking to delve into this further, I'd say we pause this for the moment.
Yeah.
And then consider getting some more, bringing someone that's got expertise around this, and we'll get some more information, and then, and as well as, I forget your name again?
Sean.
Sean
Conway.
can get us more documentation in regards to the complaints or concerns of lack of, I guess, the drop calls, whatever you want to say, that Verizon may have on record to us.
Don't we have an agreement, though, the small cell service agreement with Verizon that we have to?
It's a policy that was put together last
Policy.
year.
That's your policy, it's not an agreement. with-
Oh, okay.
With anybody.
Okay.
But what I would suggest that the board do is approve the 2 as Member Darcy suggested. Continue the hearing on the 3rd one. You can look at the efficacy or the practicality of looking at the alternative location. That may be, you know, an easier result.
My look at it is
And then the board can also get more information as well.
my look at it would be this, is that I think if we're looking to get more information from an expert or someone on this in regards to giving us a better overview of this, I think it'd be a mistake to approve 2 and not 1. I think we should just pause this and then get an expert in here if that's what is the way to go. And we can revisit this at another time after we get all the information. And this, I think, hinges on you, Trish, so I think, what would you like to do?
I think we should approve the 2 and wait on, because nobody else is in here saying they have a problem with it, and we have a lot of people that have a problem with it on Water Street, so therefore, that's why I would not feel comfortable approving that.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. The whole thing is that I think Water Street is more, it's right smack dab in a residential area, and if people are paying attention, they're gonna realize that. The
So
other
is
two,
Ocean Street.
the other two, not as much, I would say, and I don't know how many people are paying attention, especially if those are full year-round houses and all that, everything, same as the other one on Ocean Street, so. But, I mean, if that's the way you two wanna go, then, you know,
Yeah.
for at least two, and then you can do that, so.
Okay. I move that the select board approve, subject to conditions, the application for a grant of location under Mass General Law, Chapter 166, subsection 21 through 22, in the town of Marshfield, small cell wireless facility policy, allowing for the installation of 2 small wireless facilities within the town of Marshfield's public right-of-way, specifically at Marshfield, Massachusetts, SC06-Verizon pole number 7 at 175 Ocean Street, and Marshfield, Massachusetts, SC10-pole number 77A at 1190 Ocean Street in the town of Marshfield, in that the select board continue the poll hearing specifically for poll number, the third proposed location,
I would separate that out,
Marshfield,
Steve.
Mass, SC07-utility pole number 1S at 5 Water Street. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
All right, the vote carries 2-1.
I think we should have separated out the 5 Water Street one from that motion, Steve.
Oh,
Town
So,
council or Peter, do you have any issues with those being one motion? Okay.
they're not a voting member, Steve.
I was asking whether the frame of the motion is legally stands or if you.
No,
just
no, it's
had-
legal, I just think you should have separated because it's, you're blending 2 different things into one. So, all right, we're all set with this. I appreciate it, thank you.
thank
Can I
you.
ask, excuse me, when is the next meeting? If I can bring that information to the next meeting?
The 23rd.
Yes, February 23rd.
Okay. And how do I go about contacting, who should I contact?
You can go through the town administrator's office. We'll compile the information for the board and relay it to them.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, members of the board,
Thank you.
have a good evening.
All right. Number 2. So this is a discussion vote, town administrator search update, draft job advertisement, and salary range. Now, I believe we covered the advertisement. Is it to my understanding there was some changes since the last time we approved this at our last meeting? Peter, do you know?
I believe the draft is in the materials provided for tonight. I think that the discussion was going to revolve around the proposed salary range.
So since our last meeting discussing this, the draft job advertisement has not changed.
I haven't done any changes to it. I believe Charlie's on the call. I don't know if he did.
Charlie, you on Zoom?
He's not there anymore.
Oh, he's not on?
He thought it
Okay.
was going to be at the beginning of the meeting.
All right. Trish, is this still written the same way that you brought it
No,
forward?
there's more detail to it. But I mean, a lot of it's covered.
So what has changed since the last time?
A lot more information. I think it just goes into greater detail about qualifications and,
Yeah, I believe Charlie worked on this and.
Yeah.
And used the template that
Yeah, I think it looks good.
has been used in other communities by a colleague that does job searches in another part of the state primarily, and some in New Hampshire. But I think it does a very good job of describing the community, the job, and, you know, in all aspects of it. It looks very similar to the ads that I've seen for other communities.
The one concern I have is the application process. It says submit their cover letter and resume to the Town of Marshfield Human Resources Department. I think that should change to D. Kerrigan at townofmarshfield.org, but also the Select Board office. So that way, when they're sending it, we get it directed right towards us. What do you think on that, Steve?
What are your thoughts, Peter?
It's not uncommon to just have the HR director act as the clearinghouse, but it would be fine to have it go to the select board too. Either one's fine. But it,
Well, I can go to both, right?
well, if you go to both, you know,
You might
it's
miss-
better to just have one address to avoid confusion. If you want to make it the select board's office, that's fine. If you want to keep it with the HR, that's fine too. But if you put two in there, then you're going to have a problem.
All right, so I'd rather have it, if that's the case, I'd rather have it say go right to the Select Board office that way.
Just a question, Peg Davis, 87 New Street, Marshfield. Would it be appropriate to have it go through the town administrator?
No, the Select Board office, thank you.
Okay.
So my look at it is that, my thoughts are, is instead of going to the Human Resources Department, it goes right through the Select Board office. That way, all three of us are apprised of who's sending it in. And the town administrator can forward it to HR if need be.
Charlie's back on.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, just so you know.
Charlie, you there? Is his volume up?
Hello, I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yep, I can now, Charlie. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, sorry about that, I just got back on.
So we're discussing the application. I should say not the application, but the draft advertisement. Do you have anything to add on that?
No, I missed the conversation you were just having because I just got back on, but anyway.
All right, so I'll
Peter and I both reviewed that, and I think we were both satisfied with it.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad overall. My concerns were that instead of having it go to, I was suggesting both to Danielle Kerrigan and the Select Board office, but Peter says it may add confusion. So my look at it was that if there's going to be applicants, it should go right directly to the Select Board office, so all three of us get those applications, and then Peter can, if need be, forward it to Danielle Kerrigan. What are your thoughts on that?
Yep, I think that's fine. I think we had a commitment and obligation to share every application with the select board so we can make sure that works in a timely way.
All right, Steven, any thoughts?
No, it's pretty standard to have your HR director be the clearinghouse, so I don't have an issue with listing her email address and having it go through her.
Trish?
I'm fine either way, but I understand where you're coming from as well.
So you're more in line going through HR, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, keep it as is, yes.
And you're good either way, but,
If you'd rather it go through the select board, I'm
Yep.
fine with it going through the
Okay.
select board. Yeah.
Steve, do you have anything to add on in regards to the advertisement page or anything like that?
In terms of the job description, or are you talking about the thing in totality, including salary? and
Not the
benefits?
salary at the moment, just the description in itself.
No, I think it captures what we're looking for and describes the town well, and I think anyone who's qualified knows what the job entails, so in the words of Jerry Jones, I don't think we need to circumcise a mosquito here and, get bogged down in perfecting this, so I'm good with it.
Just the one thing going through this, and I may have overlooked it, Is there anything in here in regards to procurement abilities? Charlie, was there anything in there with procurement?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I had stepped away from my computer. I'm on my phone now, so I'm gonna, if there isn't, we should certainly add that.
Do you see anything, Peter?
No, I don't see anything. We could add in, responsibilities is, it's the chief procurement officer for the town, correct? Or
Yeah, I would look at it that way.
oversight of procurement or whatever. I'll make sure that it reads correctly, and we'll add procurement responsibilities in to the administrator responsibilities. That's no problem.
Yeah, this is Charlie again, sorry to interrupt. And I do think personally, we want this person, if they had not already, to obtain mass, certification as a procurement officer in a reasonable timeframe.
All right, Trish, you have anything to add on? You good?
I'm good.
All right, salary. I know this was a kind of a big discussion the last go-around. Steve, I'm sorry. You want to give your thoughts on it?
Yes. Just looking at neighboring towns in Marshfield, we don't want to find ourselves in a position where we're at the higher end for population, but potentially at the lower end of the salary range offering. And we have towns around us that have smaller populations where they're currently paying a town administrator or a town manager more than what the top end of our current salary range is. So we're not committed to it. It's going to be commensurate with experience, but I think we'll cast a wider net and potentially attract more qualified candidates if we just increase the range a little bit, because if you pick the wrong candidate, it's going to cost you more than $10,000. So, there are a lot of challenges and idiosyncrasies when it comes to Marshfield. So, I think that there is a cost that comes with that. So, again, I think upping the range will cast a wider net, hopefully attract more candidates. And again, it's what we pay ultimately is up to us. It's going to be commensurate with experience, but I don't want to find ourselves in a position where our cap is lower than what other towns are currently paying with smaller populations in Marshfield. So I just think it would behoove us just to increase the range a little bit.
I see a point in that, Steve, but my look at it is that I think a lot of towns, smaller towns like us, and even bigger ones, are in a financial situation because of the decisions in regards to the salaries getting out of hand. Trish, what's your thoughts?
Well, I'm just curious as to, are these starting positions, or are these, have these, we know Situate that, he's been in there for a while now, right? So he's up
Right.
to 20.
It's a mix.
It's a mix?
It's a mix. Kingston's a start. Hanover, Situate are long-term.
Okay.
Let's see, Duxbury's long-term. Norwell is persons just completing their first term. Rockland is long-term. I will tell you, in the process that you were in the prior process, I talked to the administrators on a number of these towns, trying to get them interested, and at the proposed salary that we were offering, they weren't.
But if I had experience and if I was looking to help, wouldn't they just apply and then try to up it within the interviewing process, or no?
You
That's
want to
not-
you want to avoid that, because you don't want to apply for a position and go through all the process and have the town go all throughout the process, and then not have a meeting of the minds on what you're offering. Your range should inform applicants, this is as high as we'll go. Your range should do that.
So do you have a recommendation of a range?
I would go higher. I would go to I would go to 225.
I just,
No. no. So what do you think on that, Trish?
Well, I understand, okay? I mean, I guess I was looking at it that if someone was experienced and wanting to change, but I totally see where you're coming from. I agree, we're in a financial state, but we need someone that's willing to take a chance and maybe step away from their current position and come here and, you know, make the changes that we want, so we're going to have to be competitive.
Yeah, if I can just expand upon that, what I would want for this town, and I really like this town a lot, and if I were in a different point in my life, I'd be applying, there'd be no problem, but I'm over the hill and far away. So, that being said, you want to hire somebody, you don't want to have them make their mistakes on your dime. You know, you want to have somebody that's learned, been there, done that, cut their teeth somewhere else, and comes here knowing what they're doing. You know, you just don't want a first timer. You want somebody that's got some acumen, because this is a town that's really at a crossroads. It's a challenge because of its political climate, quite frankly. But every piece that can make a successful community is here, and you just got to get somebody that can pull it all together and lead it forward. And if you get the right person, it'll be the best place on the South Shore, except for Braintree.
Got to get that in there.
So, yeah.
I'm just, because I'm looking at the population, I'm looking at these, and I definitely am seeing it in a different light, and I feel like we should offer a range. We're at the 210. I did say before, who's going to come in and say, I'll take the 210 over the 225, but, that can be discussed, but I think we should think about having a higher range.
I look at it as that, especially many years of being in this town and town meetings, is that I just look at that everybody goes to, well, I should get this because this town's paying this. So the whole thing is that it's a never-ending thing with communities because everybody's looking at everybody else to increase their salaries. And we shouldn't be basing off that. My whole look at it is that it's based on what we can afford. And if somebody thinks they have the talent and they want to prove themselves, then, something, there's a starting point. You just can't be walking in off the street, in my opinion, making a hell of a lot more than a lot of other people, in my opinion. So if you and Steve want to entertain a range you would want to be at, that I could put forward as a motion, I'll do that.
I'd like to just add something, if I can.
No, not now, Peg, thank you. Steve?
Yeah, I can craft the motion, and I agree too, we're all in agreement.
Well, I don't need you
that-
to craft it, I just need you and Trish to come up with the numbers, and I can put a motion together for you after you, in my opinion, the last motion you put together was a little screwy. So, you have a number for Trish, you guys can collaborate on?
Yeah, I would say that, right, we're all in agreement that our ideal candidate is someone with experience in Massachusetts, and there's a cost to that experience. So I would say at the top end, and, it's commensurate with experience, but a top end of 230.
No way. No, we're not going that high.
225?
I'll go to 225 just because I firmly believe that even if we get someone private sector or willing to, maybe at the end of their career and everything, and this would offer a pension as well.
Yep.
But I also think we need to be mindful, and I do agree with Eric in the fact that the salaries in this town are out of control. And the way that raises have been given in the past, we really need to start at 225 and then go from there. But I'm willing to go that high.
Sounds good?
Okay. Now, Peter, do you have a promise that we'll get someone good now?
Do my best.
All right, so I'm going to motion that, I move that the board vote to approve the town administrator advertisement with procurement responsibilities added to it, and that all applications go through the select board. Do I have a second?
What about the
salary.
I'm going to do that separately.
Oh,
Second.
Aye.
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 I move that the board vote to approve the salary, the maximum salary of $225,000 for the town administrator position. Do I have a second?
Second.
Nay?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that passes. Are we all good with that, Peter? Does it look like?
Yep.
Send that out?
Yep, I'll get it ready and we'll get it out. Thank you.
We're going to get someone
Thank you, Charlie.
dynamic.
Okay, behave, everybody.
You're the same.
I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right, this is to waive building department fees for town-related construction projects. The request was received by Select Board by the Building Commissioner and Facilities Director to determine whether the Select Board previously voted to waive fees for Martin's Roof project. I'm thinking on this, especially with the Martin's Roof project, I imagine that all these permit fees were all incorporated into the financials they came up with, right?
Yeah, but I don't believe they've gone out to bid, so what, if they can put in their specs that they're waiving the fees, you'll get a lower price.
How much, do we know how much the total,
It's a percentage usually of the cost of the construction.
do we know what that rough
What's the number on this? Is it
7 million, I
7 million?
think?
So it could be you're talking about six figures worth.
In permits?
Isn't it? Yeah, it's six figures worth of
But
permit.
it's the town that's the payor.
Yeah, so it's.
No, I get that.
Your base, I think so it goes two ways, all right? I'm gonna nerd out again. Cheapest way to do it is to waive the fees. If you don't waive the fees, you can take the money that you get from your building permits, and it looks like your local receipts are going up because your permitting revenue just went up because you permitted a $7 million project. But the thing is, you're just taking it from one hand and putting it in another. So you're creating free cash, but in a way that's not really free. You're just taking, it's not the way to do it. I would waive the permit.
I mean, the whole thing is, we've already approved the project, per se,
Approve the
right?
project, you've approved the debt exclusion. That doesn't mean that you have to incur all the debt. And if you can avoid incurring the debt by waiving the fees, that's a good thing.
How do we know that, let's say we waive these permit fees, how do we know that it's gonna be beneficial to the town in regards to doing that at the end of the day with the contractors?
It's a benefit to the town because you're not gonna have to pay the permit fees. The town's not gonna have to pay it. It's you can say, yeah, we're losing revenue, but where's the revenue coming from?
No, I get all that, but how do we know that if we waive these, that this is gonna be, that we're gonna see it through, I guess, the bid process is what you're saying?
It's more likely that the bid will come in lower if you waive the fees.
Bob, you got something to add?
I can't guarantee it.
Yeah, I mean, during the construction process, all the same functions are going to be performed by the building department.
Correct.
So you're not going to lose anything in that regard. All you're doing is either, if you waive this money, then we don't have to borrow and repay it with interest. It's cheaper.
No, I get that.
And all the same functions will still be performed by town officials. If the town wasn't the applicant, it would be simple. No, the answer would be no. But the town is the applicant, so it's taking money out of the left pocket and putting it in the right.
So let's put it this way, are we still, is this another piece of the puzzle before it gets submitted for, to be, what can you look at it, bidded on?
Yeah, if you say that the building fees will be waived, that'll be taken into consideration in bidding.
So do we know what the bid proposal is at the moment? Have they put it together?
I don't know where it is.
No, but when they fill out their bid, they'll definitely add the 100 or whatever it is to that bid. And it'll be 100 less than it would ordinarily be if they don't have to pay for that permit.
All right. Steve, you have anything else?
Yeah, we've done this 1,000 times. The town doesn't charge itself a permit fee for town projects. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, but I've been thinking about that in regards to the town waiving these things, and sometimes I just wonder if we're doing ourselves a benefit or not by doing it. In this case, I could see it because we're taking out money or borrowing money against it in order to do it.
Right.
Trish?
No, I'm good.
All right. I move that the board vote to waive the building fees for the Martinson School project. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 All right. All right, public comments. Anybody here for public comment? Ashley, is there a sheet up there? Can you grab the names on it? Did I? All right, thank you.
Sorry.
Peg Davis is up.
Yeah.
You already say it? Okay. And Kathleen Sullivan.
Yeah, Kathy Sullivan, 112 Plymouth Avenue. If this public comment had been at the beginning of the meeting, my comment was going to be about the town administrator's salary. And I do believe that we should not be cheapening out on this. I think we have a difficult town right now. We have a difficult reputation. And for somebody to apply to this town and ultimately give their notice somewhere else and disrupt their life, I think that we should not be playing cheapskate. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. What did you say we thought we missed?
The policy regarding Zoom access meetings.
Oh. Okay, I got what you're saying, thank you. Okay. Policy requiring live Zoom access and public broadcast of all government meetings. So Jackie may send us an email, and I'm sure you both read it, in regards to possibly submitting it for town meeting. I sat down about 2 weeks ago with Sean Leary from Marshfield Community Media and Todd Goodwin, our IT director, and we were going through all this before Jackie sent the thing in, and I thought we had a pretty good conversation on it in regards to getting all the boards and committees to tape their meetings, more likely via Zoom. So, just some notes that I've put together here from it. It was, the recorded meeting was gonna be, from Zoom. We have a new office set up next to the select board's office that, it can be a second spot aside from the select board chambers to do these meetings. It's got a table, chairs, and then chairs for the general public to sit around to take in. And then we're gonna add to the town webpage, under a heading of government videos, there'll be a link, and we're also advertising on Tidbits. So we were discussing how many boards and committees we roughly have. That's approximately 30. And I know all of them don't have a meeting like every month or whatever, for the most part. Each committee or board would have to have a separate Zoom account. Now, the whole thing is that there's an additional account, there's an additional fee for each account you get set up. So we're asking Todd, is like, well, can we take some of the boards and committees and have them use one account? But Todd's concerns were that if somebody from those boards and committee goes in there and accidentally wipes out somebody else's meeting that was taped, that's gonna be an issue there in itself. So like, I see that. So, what Todd was saying is that at the moment for Zoom, they spend $3,000 year to date. He thinks that with all the boards and committees after the tape, it would increase the budget by another $7,500. So he's looking at an increase to $10,000 a year total for Zoom meetings. He said that that could be offset by the reduction in overtime from one of the staff members here that helps the select board and MCM tape the meetings. He roughly believes that costs around $12,000 a year in overtime to do our meetings. The doors to the office next to the select board would be, remain unlocked at all times, so committees and boards could access it at any time. There'd be, I believe, a laptop for the office with instructions that would detail on how to operate it. And Todd was recommending that the board chair should go by IT for a demonstration in regards to how to operate Zoom when they do these meetings. And then the other thing is we're concerned about was between the select board chambers and the office next to the select board office was that we may not have enough space in regards to some of the meetings, especially if they're the same time and date maybe. So we're also considering the library room as a backup, the library meeting room as a backup. And Todd got back to me, said they took a visit down there, and he said what it looked like is all it needed was a TV and the sound bar, and he said that would roughly cost around $1,300 to do that. And I asked him about that should come out of IT's budget, and he was like, if it could come out of the select board's budget, that would be better off. So that was something for us to take into consideration. And then when they do the recordings on Zoom, I asked Todd about Marshfield Community Media being able to access those links so they can post them right up on Marshfield Community Media. And Todd says, yeah, I think they've already did it, that Todd has already given the access to Sean Leary. So anytime these meetings are taking place on Zoom, Sean has to do is just go in and then grab them and then be able to post them on Marshfield Community Media or the YouTube channel, that under the government channel that we have. And then the other thing is if they wanted MCM to help record their meetings, they would have to set up recording meetings with Sean and the ability of staff, and especially with their calendar and schedule. So, Steve, did you have anything to comment on about this?
I do. I think the intent of this is good, but then there's the question of feasibility, right? Because we talked about this last September as we were getting ready for the special town meeting in October, and here we are again discussing it as we get ready for the annual town meeting in April. So the last time this came up, I reached out to Marshfield Community Media, right? And here are the meetings that they already cover on a regular basis. It's the Conservation Commission.
Yep.
It's the Advisory Board, Select Board, Board of Public Works, School Committee, Zoning Board of Appeals, Capital Budget Committee, the Housing Authority, Town Meeting, and then the Plan for Public Information Committee. So I think those are the core committees that rightfully so should be covered, but there's a question of just staff and manpower and then equipment, and there's going to be a cost that comes with covering every single conceivable board and committee in town.
Hold on, let me just interrupt you for a moment there. I'm not looking to have all these meetings staffed. I'm just looking Zoom capabilities. They have to tape the meetings. Every board and committee is required to tape the meetings. I'm not looking to staff it. All of them, if MTM has already covered a good chunk of them, like you mentioned, but it's like some of the smaller ones, I think every board and committee out there that is choosing to serve on these boards and committees should tape these meetings so the general public can go back and watch what they discussed and everything like that, in my opinion. So if you're thinking that we're having, MCM is gonna have to staff, and, that's not where I'm going at with this. It's just, that's what I was saying, the Zoom capabilities between the select board office, this chamber, and if need be, the library meeting room. And then if they're gonna have a meeting, it has to be recorded. That's all I'm looking at. Any meeting that these committees and boards have, they have to either do it on their own way or use one of the facilities and tape the meeting. So the general, tape it, record it. I should say, they're gonna have the meeting on Zoom, but they're also required to record it. So that way, Sean from MCM can get that link posted. So the general viewing public, if they wanna get updated on what's going on, they can watch that meeting.
Okay, because the draft policy that was in our binder mentioned MCM.
That was from
so I wanted to
Jackie.
clarify that.
Yeah, we could talk about it afterwards if you wanted to.
Okay, I mean, I'd be fine to have further discussion, but I wouldn't want to vote tonight because I'd want to have Todd in to kind of pick his brain on the numbers and the feasibility and what the cost would be, because, we have IT staff right here right now to help us with our meetings, so are we going to have to expense to have IT to assist people with the Zoom component for every single one of their meetings?
No, this is what I was saying. And if I wasn't clear about it, Steve, I apologize. So the whole thing is that when I talked to Todd about it, Todd was saying he would make instructions that were laminated so the board, the chair, or whoever's going to be running that meeting would know how to get into Zoom. And also, Todd said they would show the chair of the board or whoever's going to be helping with the Zooming, he would give them a crash course on it, everything like that. So there wouldn't be, maybe at the beginning, there might be additional costs just to help everybody get in the flow of things, but the whole thing is that, as far as I can see, the only extra increase in cost would be to have each committee have their own Zoom link. And that would add an additional $7,500 on top of the $3,000. Todd says you probably need an increase for that to about $10,000 a year. But Todd also said that we shouldn't need a staff member to be at our meetings, like tonight, because we're paying them overtime, and that would be a savings of $12,000 a year. So that's where all the numbers are. And if you want to go further into it, obviously, you're welcome to, but that's what I have at the moment.
Yeah.
Todd.
Well, my concern would be not all of our committee chairs are tech savvy, so they
Yep,
might struggle to get the Zoom component up and going. So, I mean, I don't think there's a huge clamoring for every single recreational trails committee meeting or every historical committee meeting to be recorded, so.
I don't know, they're pretty riveting.
Yeah. So, for the core committee meetings that are already recorded, I support it, but I don't think we need to do it for every single committee meeting and just create potential issues for us, and set up a policy that we're not going to be able to fulfill, if we have people who do have difficulties with that.
Well, I mean, if you look at, I was going to say, I've been in a couple of library meetings in the past, and the whole thing is that they do those on my Zoom, but then when you inquire if they're recorded or not, no. So, I mean, I think a lot of these committees do the Zoom. The whole thing is that they choose not to record them, and why is that? So the whole thing is that if you're going to do a meeting by Zoom, that doesn't take too much to hit the record button and do it. I get your understanding, with the smaller ones, they may meet and all that and everything, but I think we have 2 locations, maybe 3, that they can all meet, record their meetings, and if people want to take an interest in watching them, I think we should afford that to them. I'm not saying staff it and make sure that they're live every time, like what Jackie's proposing in her thing. But I think, in my opinion, I think they should be taped, recorded and taped, for the record and for as well as the general public to view and watch. What are your thoughts, Trish?
So I actually met with Todd because I'm on the opioid fund committee and I've taken over the responsibility of Zooming. So he taught me how, and I have my cheat sheet. I did talk to him about the expense. First of all, I know the library, I do my office hours over there quarterly, and I know those rooms are booked. So to think that we can use a library spot is, is going to be difficult.
Which one? You're talking about
Either
one-
the Adelaide Phillips or the smaller one. The smaller one.
Are we talking about the one that's on the outside of the wall there?
Yes,
entering?
that one's always booked.
Is it always booked?
Yeah, I had to book like 3 months in advance for my hours. Because if I wait till like a month, even 2 months before, it's booked. So anyways, but one thing I was thinking about, I do agree with Steve in the fact that I think some of the smaller committees, if we were to invite them here to maybe give an update, because, if they're meeting, some of their meetings only last like 20 minutes. I know I go to the Historic Cemetery Committee meeting, and it's 20 minutes. So by the time they get their Zoom and everything going, and there's not much going on, we might want to take a look at the important ones, make sure they're Zooming. I agree, because people want that in the moment. They want to, if they can't show up here, they want to see what's going on. They don't want to wait for the recording, but I do agree having the recording. So maybe.
Well, I mean, I think it's just that, like, some people can't attend all these meetings, especially if there's a subject matter that may come up for them. That's what I'm saying, at least if we record if we get all our board and committee meetings recorded, that way people can go back, look at it, see what conversation took place, and if need be, reach out to those board and committees and ask them questions if need be to further extend the conversation if it can be on those subject matters. I mean, there's one group that I think has people that I think should be recording meetings, and that's the Airport Commission. I think they are very important to the town, and what they do has big impacts, whether negative or positive for the town. And I did reach out when I was putting this together. I did reach out to one of the board members and ask him, I was like, hey, we're putting this policy together. I just wanted to find out if you guys have the abilities or not to record and everything. And he didn't believe they did. And so I told him, I was like, we got a couple locations, might put one more together. I was like, but I'll let you know going forward. And I told him, just like you two, I'm not looking to implement this right away. This is gonna be a couple months, so we can work at all the kinks and get it going, so, but.
So that's my idea. We might, some of them, we might just, and that might reduce the cost too, where we say, okay, maybe quarterly, the Historic Cemetery Committee comes in and they just tell us what they're doing, as opposed to having to record the meetings that they have. But there are a lot of important, like the opioid fund committee, I think we should be Zooming and recording. I mean, we have a lot of money that we will be giving out to fund, prevention and.
Specific needs.
Absolutely. So I think to be transparent, it should be recorded and on Zoom. But, I just don't know that we need all 30 of them recording and Zooming. But getting updates in here, well, come on in and tell us what you're up to.
I mean, that's not a bad idea for some of the smaller ones.
Yeah, just.
I could roll with something like that. What are your thoughts, Steve?
Maybe as a sign of good faith, you could try doing the select board meetings with no assistance for 2 months straight. If you pull it off, well, reconsider.
I'll do it. I know how to do it now. I can do it.
Oh, the Zoom part?
I'll do the Zoom
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think
They'll be
taping it's
looking
that
at my
bad.
face.
There may be an issue at the beginning, but it's, let's put it this way, I think I've been on Zoom enough times now that I think I got a basic understanding of it, so. All right, let me add that into my conversation with people, and maybe the smaller committee meetings, maybe they could give you a presentation to the an overall
Yeah, just
presentation.
Bring them in and have them just share what's going on, what they're working on, what's coming up. It'll be a great way for people to learn about the committees, too.
No, that's not a bad idea. I can roll with that. Do you have anything else to add on?
And I love watching local access when I can't sleep.
I do all my listening when I'm at work at night, so it's, I listen to all the meetings and get the lowdown what's going on. All right,
Eric, I have a question about this.
yep, go ahead.
I'm Kathy Sullivan, I'm co-chair of the Historical Commission, which Trish mentioned. We in our office do not have any Wi-Fi capability. We have our own Historical Commission town office in the Veterans Building, but it's not set up for Wi-Fi. So we would be one of the ones that would have to come over here and vie for space. And it seems to me that this room in particular is used several nights a week already.
Yeah, this is one of them, and then we have a new room over there, I don't know if you've
Right.
seen it, not.
No.
Yeah,
But-
so there's a new room next to the
But
select
if
board
there were
office.
other people like us that would be uprooted from where they normally meet, then we'd all be vying for that space. So you need to kind of think about that. And also, I don't know, how much is the Zoom account going to be? Because we
Oh,
have a big
like-
budget of $3,500 a year. So,
No, that's what I brought up. So, at the moment, IT spends $3,000 year to date.
yeah, but would we be paying for it out of our budget? Or would I?
No, out of the boards and committees?
The Zoom
No.
for each one of the
No.
committees? We would not be paying?
No, it wouldn't be coming out of your budget, no.
Oh, okay, all right,
No, no,
fine,
no.
thank you.
Is that
All
it?
right, yep,
No, I think
yep.
when you get into consideration, I mean, let me ask you this much, Kathy. Would it, I don't know, like, this is the whole thing is that we'd have to find out in regards to who needs what space to record and all that. But let's say we go with Trish's idea, the smaller groups come in here and everything like that.
Would that be in
would it-
addition
would-
to our regular meeting?
What's
Would it be
that?
a separate meeting, like as part of the select board meeting? Is that what you said?
What's that?
Would that be part of the select board meeting?
Oh, if you're, to come in and give a presentation, like an
Yeah.
update to, that's what we're considering, through Trish's, proposal there, was that some of the smaller groups like the Historical Commission, all that, just come in, give us an update on what you're working on, instead of having to tape it, which I'm open to. I think that's not a bad idea.
It wouldn't have to be anything
Like a big deal.
formatted or
Yeah.
anything. It would just be what you're working on,
Yeah.
what's coming up.
Yeah.
Just so people would have an understanding of what you're all about, what your committee is doing.
Right, yeah, okay.
But my look at it, like, for this whole thing is I think people want to be informed of what's going on in town. So the whole thing is, that's great that the boards and committees are together in the meeting. The whole thing is that people have no way of really, besides the minutes, and sometimes those aren't as descriptive as they probably should be. So the thing is, I'm looking at that, if everybody had to tape their meeting, they would get a better understanding of what's going on, especially if there's a subject.
Well, we would be one of the ones that would be brand new to us and start from scratch.
Right.
Have to vie for space or whatever, since our existing meeting space that people come to, people, especially when they have a demolition, do come to the meetings.
Yep.
So, we'd have to say, no.
Yeah, you'd have to post it on your agenda,
Yeah,
the
right.
location, all that, and everything.
Yes, right,
I get that.
yeah. But it's doable if we had to, yeah.
No, I think it's doable for a lot. Like I said, I'm open to Trish's idea in regards to it, so.
Yeah, okay,
Right.
thank you.
All right. All right, so let's see if we can, I will look into this, see if we can polish it up a little bit better, and maybe we can have maybe a policy that works, that everybody can agree to, in my opinion. Okay, discussion and vote to approve a one-day liquor license on Saturday, March 14th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Point Restaurant, 93 Central Street, Marshfield, Mass. St. Patrick's Road Race. Let's see, name of applicant, Jenna Bostwick, name of business, The Point Restaurant, mailing address, 128 Sunset Way, Pembroke, Mass. 02359. St. Patrick's Day Road Race. Tip certified, event will be held indoors and outdoors, Marshfield additionally insured, checked off. Peter, there's no signature and date on this, is that a issue on this license application?
There's no signature of the applicant?
Nope.
Yeah.
All right, so we just got to add that to the motion?
Yeah, make it contingent upon him completing the application appropriately. Or you could postpone it, but, because this is for,
March 14th.
yeah, you've got time before You'd have another meeting in 2 weeks that could cover this, so you can postpone it until the application is completed appropriately.
What do you want to do, Steve?
I think it's just simple enough to build a contingency.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, so, yeah, absolutely. Trish? Yep. All right, this is from Ms. Boswick. We are looking to open the Point Restaurant for a one-day party during the St. Patrick's Road Race from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. We are planning on using our current footprint for the event, including downstairs dining areas, indoors and out, as well as the bar area and deck if weather is permitted. We are not opening for regular service. We will be providing a buffet style of food for customers. We are not providing any live entertainment, just looking to open for a place to people go on race day. If the race gets rescheduled due to weather, this can be valid for the rain day. All right, well, her letter states that for the rain day, but there is no rain day stated here. So if they are going to reschedule it, they'll have to come back to us then, right?
Right.
Peter?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so Steve, are you good with this?
Yes.
Trish, you good with this?
Yes.
I move that the board vote to approve a one-day all liquor license to Jenna Boswick on Saturday, March 14, 2026, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Point Restaurant, 93 Central Street, for the St. Patrick's Day Road Race contingent upon the applicant signing and dating the license application. Do I have a second?
Mr. Kelly?
Yes, yes.
A point. I think that they're only entitled to a beer and wine. Only nonprofits are eligible for an all-alcoholic beverage license on a one-day license. I hate to see them be hampered in this, but I don't think it's legally possible to.
All right, so let's put it this way. We're gonna have to revisit this then because of
You
that?
could approve the beer
You
and
can
wine,
approve.
but only a nonprofit can get a one-day all-alcoholic license, and the Point, I believe, is not a nonprofit.
Signature dating. So we're just gonna have to redo the language and then they got to redo their form?
I think you could just let them, you could approve a beer and wine, because that's
Yeah.
the most you could give them. And you, when they come in to sign the form, you could just give them the beer and wine and approve it as a beer and wine.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to redo the motion, right?
Yeah, just redo it.
Instead of one day all liquor license.
Right.
It'll be beer and wine license?
Correct, because state law precludes you from having an all-alcoholic beverage license unless you're a nonprofit.
All right, and we're going to have to inform them just so they're aware of that too, right?
Yes.
All right, let me read the motion again then. I move that the board vote to approve a beer and wine license to Jenna Boswick on Saturday, March 14, 2026, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Point Restaurant, 93 Central Street, for the St. Patrick's Road Race, contingent upon the applicant signing and dating the license application. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Okay, number 9, discussion vote to approve one-day all alcohol liquor license on Saturday, March 14th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Modest Roots Brewing, 25 Dyke Road, from Marshfield, St. Patrick's Day Road Race. Bob, are we in the same situation
No,
with
they
them?
did one.
Yeah, I mean, if they're nonprofits, you can give them the all-alcoholic license.
Do we know if they're a nonprofit then?
It is not.
But their license is just wine and
I only
malt.
applied for beer and wine, though.
What is it?
I only applied for beer and wine, not all alcohol.
See?
Okay. That you did, all right. So, discussion approve, beer and wine license, a one-day. All right, so, Thomas Millward, Millward Brewing Company LLC, DBA Modest Roots Brewing requests a one-day beer and wine license to introduce our affiliated company, Modest Roots Brewing, South to the Marshfield community ahead of the spring opening of 25 Dyke Road in Brant Rock. The Marshfield St. Patrick's Day 5K attracts many residents and visitors to the area, give us exposure and promotion to the community at large before they open. Together, we hope to generate excitement around our new Brant Rock business and give the community a chance to get to know us and sample our products. We will have kegs of Modest Roots brewing beers on site and serve customers who will like to purchase a selection of our beers. Visitors will have an opportunity to meet our head brewer and the owner of Modest Roots Brewing South to get to know us and ask questions. We look forward to serving the Brant Rock community on this day and well into the future. So the applicant is Thomas Millward, name of business is Millward Brewing Company LLC, mailing address P.O. Box 493, Billerica, Mass. 01821. Date of event, March 14, 2026. Hours of event, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Location event, 25 Dyke Road. For the Marshfield St. Patrick's 5K road race, wine and malt beverages only. Marshall additionally assured, tip certification, event narrative. The event will be held indoors. This one is signed. Questions or comments, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish?
No.
Okay. I move that the board vote to approve.
Sorry, I hate to be interrupt, but they can't sell it off premises. They can consume on premises. A one-day license is for on-premises consumption only.
Do they state that they're going to be?
Yeah, I thought I heard that they were looking to sell product to take off-site.
Oh, no.
Oh, I got what you're saying.
As long as they're not doing that, there's absolutely no issue with the application.
We would like to purchase a selection of our beers.
Yeah, you can't purchase for off-site consumption. You can have only on-site consumption on a one-day license.
All right,
That's all we're doing, on site, out of a keg.
Yeah, I think Bob was thinking that
You're not
you're gonna
filling growlers or anything
bottle it up and they can carry it out.
No, we do like, they have cans, they do it at the location. We're not doing any cans, nothing like that.
Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Just on-site consumption.
He's good.
All right, so should I, are
No,
we good with it?
Good, you're
It's-
good.
It's an on-premises consumption license, so I just wanted to make sure that it
All
was
right,
clear.
okay. I move that the board vote to approve a one-day wine and malt liquor license to Thomas Millward for the St. Patrick's Day Road Race on Saturday, March 14th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. I move the board, annual Best Buddies Challenge, Hyannisport on Saturday, March 30th. Excuse me, Saturday, May 30th, 2026, contingent upon positive recommendations from police and fire. Here's a letter from January 8th, 2026. Best Buddies Challenge, Hyannisport. Dear Town Official, the 27th Annual Best Buddies Challenge, Hyannisport is set to take place Saturday, May 30th, 2026. This is the annual fundraising event that will raise money for Best Buddies International. Best Buddies is a nonprofit 501c3 organization dedicated to establishing a global volunteer movement that creates opportunities for one-to-one friendships, integrated employment, and leadership development for people with intellectual and development disabilities. The Best Buddies Challenge, Hyannisport, is a 100-mile-long bicycle ride starting in Boston and finishing in Craigville Beach in Hyannisport. We also have a 50-mile start in Carver and a 20-mile start in Sandwich. Through my involvement with this event over the last 20 years, I recognize the support your communities offer to the safety of our ride. I've enclosed our route information regarding your community, and we greatly appreciate your continued help. Police details are marked in the police column, and the route notes and approximate times are noted on the right, as in the past. I will work with each department to hire the appropriate number of officers as we get closer to the event. The number of riders participating in this event has been approximately 250 at the 100-mile, 200 at the 50-mile, and 100 at the 20-mile. The cyclists will travel at their own pace. Riders are required to wear helmets and abide by the rules of the road. We plan to follow all guidelines put in place by CDC, state, city, and other local agencies to keep everyone safe. Should you have any questions or concerns, please contact me at my phone, email at james.jaffe@comcast.net, or mail to James Jaffe, 130 Dale Glen Lane, Laura, South Carolina, 29569. Please sign this letter in acknowledgement of the awareness of our event. Return to me as soon as possible so that we may require the proper permitting from Mass DOT. City, town hall, police, fire department signatures are needed for each community the ride passes. So, questions or comments, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish? No. Okay, I move that the board vote to approve the 27th Annual Best Buddies Challenge on Saturday, May 30th, 2026, contingent upon positive recommendations from police and fire. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Vote to approve Marshfield Cultural Council 2026 Summer Concert Entertainment Series held on Sundays from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the dates of July 26th, August 2nd, and 16th on the Town Training Green, 870 Moraine Street. This is from Ned Bangs.
Ned is here. You might not be able to see him behind the podium, depending on your angle.
What's going on, Ned? Ed, instead of me reading this, do you want to just throw your 2 cents in on it, or?
Sure. Good evening, Ned Bangs. I'm a member of the Marshfield Cultural Council, and this is an annual request that we have for the use of the town green, and we're also use of the town hall, bathrooms and water, electricity, those types of things, which has been pretty standard over the last 4 years now that we reactivated the concert series. It's 4 weeks, so it starts up after the Levitate concert and before the town Marshfield Fair comes into town. And so there's 4 weeks that we can capture people, and it's been a nice family-oriented program in the past, and we had a very diverse group of performers last year, and we look forward to trying to duplicate that this year. We have meetings set up for this Wednesday and Thursday, actually, to go over that. So, yeah, we're looking to, for permission to use it and continue with the good results that we've had in the past.
Do you have, who do you have, like, for the concerts now? Is there anybody, like, known, or is it just, like, small, local?
So, knowing that you know right now, because we haven't decided that, but in the past, we had Marsh Vegas, Colby Laurier, and Colby is branching off. He's trying to work out a deal with the fairgrounds to expand his Marsh Vegas event, which was very nice to have on the town green the last 2 years, and he was a great kid to work with, giving back to the town. We're looking at a performer that played last year with us, the Rusty, excuse me, Doug, I always get the name of the band wrong, but the local band based in Marshfield guys playing. We have 2 others from last year that we're looking to bring in, 2 new groups and have 2 of the same, and we'll have a better idea at the end of this week where we are with performers, and we'll, as in past practices, we'll give you a copy of the flyer and put it up on Tidbits and places like that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Steve, questions, comments?
Oh, the summer concert series is Ned Baines, so happy to have you taking the reins again. So thanks for all the work you always put into it.
Thank you.
Trish?
No, thank you, Ned.
All right, very good.
Thank you, Ned. I move that the board vote to approve the Marshfield Cultural Council's 2026 Summer Concert Entertainment Series held on Sundays from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the dates of July 26, 2026, and August 2nd through August 16th, 2026, on the town's training green at 870 Moraine Street. Do I have a discussion? I mean, second. Jeez.
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Thank you. No Kings demonstration on Saturday, March 28, 2026, from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. at Dandelion Park. Email communications. Deborah J. Cornwell, hi, Jim Farrell says he's not using the park on March 28th, but that I need to go through the select board to get permission to use the front area for the No Kings demonstration on March 28th, 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. We've used it before and cleaned after ourselves, thank you. Comments or questions, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish?
No.
I move that the board vote to approve a No Kings demonstration in front of Dandelion Park on March 28, 2026, from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Approved donation in the amount of $160 to the Marshfield Veterans Honor Roll.